Hey, this is Dave from MetalEpidemic.com. Thank you for checking out our YouTube video. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button below if you like this type of content, and we hope you enjoy the review. What's up, guys? It's Dave here from Metal Epidemic, back with another review. And for this review, Duncan Kyle and myself have been checking out the new release from UK hardcore band Borstal. The band's new EP, At Her Majesty's Pleasure, will be released on April 1st via 4 Family Records. This is a debut EP from a brand new band featuring Pierre Mendeville from Knuckledust, Nick Barker from Brujeria, ex-Cradle of Filth, Demi Borger and Testament, Lee Kitchener and Wes Hanslip of Dripback, and Jamie Hunter of King of Pigs.
Can we say this is a supergroup? Can we quantify it as a supergroup?
Kinda.
Let's do it. British supergroup with hints of Brujeria, which were Mexican, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. If it wasn't, I apologise. It's a Mexican one. But yeah, there we go. Supergroup. Boom.
Supergroup. Yeah. The EP was recorded, mixed and mastered at Monolith Studios by Charlie Squid Commander Wilson in September 2020. The EP also features a cover version of of The Last Resort's King of the Jungle, featuring a guest appearance by none other than Brit oil legend Mr. Arthur Kitchener, father of Borstal guitarist Lee Kitchener. So, I think it's pretty safe to say that we're all new to Borstal. This being a debut EP.
The band, or the incarceration element of where you spend time at Her Majesty's Pleasure, which I think is where they got the name from. So
yeah, that's a story for a different podcast.
Yep.
I must admit though, it was the band name that piqued my interest. Like when I saw it, I was like, that's a fucking great name for a hardcore band.
It's a perfect name for a hardcore band. So actually, I'll tell you, from the name and from the album artwork, I knew exactly how these guys were going to sound. And guess what? They sounded exactly like. And there was a sigh of relief that waved over me when I was like that. Yep, I got it right this time. Even got the country of origin right this time. So, because this word, like I was saying off air, does not exist in any other country except the UK, which makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then when I read who was involved, I got even more interested to hear this, because you've got Pierre from Knuckledust on vocals, fucking Nick Barker on drums from Brujeria and Cradle and stuff, and then you've got Lee and Wes from Dripback.
We love a bit of Dripback, so we
do. I interviewed Wes and I think it was Dave from Dripback back in
ages ago,
14, something like that. In Glasgow. They were on tour with Crowbar at the time, and they were really cool guys, so I was excited to hear what they'd been up to, because we reviewed This Is Endless.
Oh yeah, wow.
Below last year, which had the other Dripback guitarist Luca on it, and we really dug that as well. So I was keen to hear this. I'm going to put my cards on the table though. Up front, I'm going to say I am not the biggest fan of EPs. EPs are a bit of a hard sell.
You've literally just spunked your balls empty over Distant twice, who did 6-track EPs. You cannot sit there and tell me you don't like EPs.
I'm not saying that.
Both times he said, "I want an album."
He did say that.
I did.
Both times he said that, but both times he was saying this is amazing. So
yeah, there are exceptions. And I think EP, if they're distant, it's fine. I think they're good in that, like most of the on an EP, you don't get much filler. They're fairly concise. I don't know. I just don't feel like I always get the full picture from a band.
You feel cheated.
You feel like
yeah.
I mean, bit.
if you're testing the water with a new outfit though,
yeah.
And COVID, come on, COVID.
Oh, good old COVID.
Ain't nobody got time to sit in a room and do a whole fucking album. Especially when you're in other bands who are most likely... Well, think about it. All these guys have got other bands who are likely doing COVID material as well. So this is a little bit on the side. This is a wee bit rough.
Time for an album.
This is a wee bit in the rough, you know what I mean? You bit on the side. We bit something dirty. You want to get in quickly and out. You want to be hanging around asking how their day was. I mean, that's not cool. You just want to write the songs and get out, you know what I mean? So... No, I see what you're saying, but as a new band testing the waters,
True.
I think an EP is a great format.
Yeah, and to be honest, I did at the end of this EP, when I got to the end of At Her Majesty's Pleasure, I did feel like it gave me a good kind of breakdown of the different elements this band has to offer.
Yeah.
Each track does feature like a different ingredient or something that separates the tracks out and stopped it from sounding like a repetitive, predictable kind of hardcore release. The first track, the intro of the first track, Refuse to Lose, pretty much had my full attention, to be honest.
That riff, see when that riff comes in, I couldn't fucking stop smiling. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
It was so 90s. It was like Cro-Mags meets Propane. That was just, I was thinking, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. I loved the build up into the kind of main riff. And then when it actually hits, it's like, had hints of like a kind of, like a harder edged Agnostic front or Terror or something like that. As an opening track, it absolutely rips. Like, it sets the EP up perfectly, in my opinion. And I could imagine, like when I was listening, I was thinking, imagine this opening a live set. This would be fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, just it's perfect as an opener. Absolutely perfect. As the EP goes on, though, you've got like Karma, which again comes with that kind of hostility and the kind of fast-paced riffs, but it's got the kind of added like shout-along backing vocals with some melodic woes added into the chorus as well, which it kind of gives it a bit of a more kind of traditional hardcore punk feel. And again, it's like one of those tracks that would be great for like crowd participation even. Track 3 was We Stand As One, and again it kind of leans more into that kind of punk side of the band. The chord choices, the vocal style, very old school punk. Reminded me a little bit of 25 to Life, which I dug. Again, there's something a bit different on the EP. A little bit of melody on there as well, in a very kind of hardcore type of way. It wasn't my favourite chorus of the EP, if I'm honest. I don't know, the melody sat a little bit weird for me on that track. Don't know. Followed up by Vicious Circles though, which kind of goes back into their heavier side, has a bit of a like a Madball meets kind of Sick of It All type vibe. So after like We Stand As One, which was a little bit kind of varying in success, I thought Vicious Circles kind of got me right back on side. And I love the fact that the first verse on that track is sung in Spanish as well. I thought that was really cool, kind of showed another side to the band. Wormfood, pretty full on kind of circle pit type track, I was imagining. Again loaded with a lot of kind of traditional kind of upbeat hardcore punk riffs and drums, less of the kind of beat down type hardcore feel. Not a million miles away from Knuckledust, to be honest. Kind of the Bluffs, Lies and Alibis kind of era, but again it was kind of subtly different to the track before as well. And then the EP finishes off with King of the Jungle, which I mentioned as a cover by The Last Resort, who were a kind of British oi band from Kent, I think. The original, the track was released like back in the 80s, so I thought it was a really good choice to cover because it kind of allowed them to bring the kind of version of it up to date, with a bigger kind of heavier sound and production. So I quite liked the cover. It had a very kind of chant along type feel to it. So after a couple of listens, like, I found myself singing King of the Jungle at random times throughout the day. My wife didn't get it, but what the fuck does she know?
Probably thought with that terrible impression that you were trying to audition for EastEnders. I don't know. It's like Big Davies, Big Davies, Phil Mitchell. I mean, you've got the haircut. I mean, like you just need to start chibbing a couple of folk, you'll be fine.
Yeah, put on a bit 6
You've been
stone.
having that lion nightmare again, have you?
Yeah, I found this a very enjoyable EP. It's like 15 minutes long, so really easy, quite a fun listen. I played it a bunch of times, and each time I liked it a wee bit more. It's not perfect, but I don't think hardcore punk is supposed to be honest. It's not an overly technical and intricate genre. It naturally has a bit of kind of roughness to it, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Yeah, I'm kind of keen to hear more from these guys. The EP, as much as I'm not a massive fan of EPs, did its job, and it kind of gave me exactly what I wanted. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Duncan, what did you make of this one?
Now, let me just state right now that I am a fan of EPs in the same week that you give me an album which is over an hour to listen to, and it's length with 19 tracks. At that point, I'm like that. A 6-track EP, which, you know, rocks in about 16 minutes, I'm fucking good with that. So yeah, I hit play on this one, and I kind of, like I say, I kind of had an idea what I was going to get. And when that first riff kicked in, I was like, yes. Yes, like this. As known by all of us, I don't take notes, and I don't read notes. Shoot from the hip. But the overwhelming opinion that I got as I was listening to this is Big Davey's going to love this. I just kept going, oh, Dave's going to love this. This is really fucking good. There's no frills, no airs, no gracies. It gets right to the point. And with you, I think they're not just sticking to a template. They're bringing in all their influences. And certainly mixing up the styles, so some tracks do sway more to kind of aggro punk territory, and others stick more with the kind of traditional 90s hardcore sound. But there's a good balance between them on the EP. It doesn't predominantly sway one way or the other. I think the vocals are fucking brilliant. Guy's got a great tone for this, like perfect tone for this style of hardcore. The production as well, I mean, it's clearly modern production, but that has that kind of... It's not polished within an inch of its life. There's something kind of gritty, something kind of 90s about this, and I dig that as well. The band themselves are... I mean, it doesn't surprise me they're a kind of hodgepodge collective of other established bands, because you can hear it on here. Everything's written with a great degree of confidence, and this music needs to... This genre, of all the genres that we review, you kind of need to know what you're doing. You can be a death metal band and fluff some bits, maybe not technically playing, but you can switch out, doing a bit of the old death metal into like a thrash riff or something like that, come back, swinging grooves and all the rest, and that works within that genre. For hardcore, very few things actually work within the hardcore template. You're really talking kind of rap or punk are about the extent of it. So to hear these guys just strip things back and go straight for the jugular made me very happy. It's an infectious, really fast little listen. I'm with you, like, also on the kind of choice of kind of foreign language verse on track. I think it was 4, which I really enjoyed. Just a little bit something else. Why not? And I've never heard the original King of the Jungle. It did occur to me that this might be a cover, because just the template of the song sounded different from the rest. Totally fits though. Totally works. And this is, that to me is the, like you're talking about crowd participation. That in a pit, it's gonna fucking sound huge. There's really nothing. There's no kind of bad point here. If I had any gripe, it's that they aren't necessarily doing anything different to the genre. That being said, I have a bit of a soft spot for 90s hardcore sounding bands. I've told you I sway more to this side than I do with the kind of American resurgence, kind of a la early 2000s, around the Hatebreed side of things, which I just find is a bit too... Not punishing. Punishing's not the wrong... that's the only level it has. Whereas I think, like, specifically the 90s stuff, there was a lot more going on, especially with tempo changes and stuff. And these guys have got it in spades. As a tester for audiences, I'm totally in on this. I'm going to do the Davey on the Distant thing. Give me a full length. I will happily listen to that. I mean, this is 6 songs and 16 minutes long. You give me 12 songs. That's under 30 minutes. That's Slayer, Rain and Blood territory right there. So give me that. I would happily listen to the shit out of this. That's really all I have to say. I was genuinely pumped when I heard these guys. It did my heart good, because it's different from a lot of the stuff we've been listening to of late.
True. Kyle, my man, what are you thinking about this new EP from Borstal?
I'm a fan of EPs. Sometimes they're all you need. Sometimes an album is too much. And honestly, I think if these guys did an album list, it would be too much. I don't know. The first track, the intro, like you said, I agree with you all the way up until the end of the first track. And then it's like, after that, I was like, oh, this one sounds the same. Oh, this one sounds the same.
You ignorant slut.
Yeah, I am that. For me, it was just like, I don't know, it sounded like every other hardcore band I've ever heard, which is quite a few. And it was like, if you're going to get this level of musicians together to make a hardcore album, why not rub some of their personality on it a little bit more? That's all I felt like. Like, it wasn't an unenjoyable listen. I enjoyed it to a point, but at the end of it, I was like, yeah, okay. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I want to listen to that again. Maybe the first track, that one was really good. But like they did the gang vocals like 3 songs in a row or something, and something like that. And I was like, okay, just it's a really short EP. Don't overdo things. I think they just overdid stuff. Great production though. Really enjoyed that. The sample drum, shut up. And I wasn't actually paying that much attention. I thought I heard some sample somewhere, but that's another. But otherwise, the guitars and everything actually sounds really good. But I just felt like the whole thing was a bit I don't want to say forgettable, but it was just like, yeah, I've heard it before. Like, if you're gonna bring an EP, make it amazing. And like, but saying that, what you guys were saying about this playing live, it's gonna go over amazingly live, completely. Like, this was built for just playing stuff live. So I don't know if it works necessarily on a release or an album or an EP, but it will definitely work live. And I'll be right there with them in the pit going, "Rrr." And the cover was great. Actually, the cover was really good. I went back and listened to the original before I heard this one. I was like, that's a really good cover. That is a really well done cover. So because the original sounds like it was done in the 80s. Like, if you listen to it, it's very old school. So I like the kind of polish that they put on it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, really very catchy chorus as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Rating wise, on this one, what would I go on this one? I think it's pretty solid. I'd probably go 4 out of 5 for me on this one. Duncan, what about yourself?
I'm right there with you. It's 4 out of 5 for me.
4 from Duncan. And Kyle?
I'm not going to join you on this one. It says 3 out of 5 for me.
3 from Kyle. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, like David's just the two of us, building castles in the sky, just the two of us.
You and I.
There we go.
On the 1st of April, the new Borstal EP will drop. It's called At Her Majesty's Pleasure. If you want to check the band out, it is facebook.com/BorstalHC. That is the review. Let us know what you think. Stick some comments in below if you've heard any of the tracks they have released so far. And once you've heard the EP, let us know what you think. Thanks for checking out the review, guys. Much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.